Namaste, Yogi nerds. Welcome. Snakes and ladders. It's not really. It's our advanced sequencing chart. But it sort of is snakes and ladders if you think about it. The snakes going up being mastery over our energy, and the ladders going down indicating a loss of energy, a loss of mastery over prana, we could say. What I see in a lot of modern understandings of sequencing is that we are looking at the postures, looking at the asanas in a way that is not maximizing their full potential. We look at poses in terms of, let's say, standing pose category, or arm balance category, or hip openers. And although these categories tell us something, they don't tell us much. Let me give you an example. Pretend I'm standing. Warrior 2, extension pose. Side angle pose, lateral. This is a pretty common standing sequence. Into a standing back bend, warrior 1. Fold forwards over the front leg, Parisvottanasana, there's your forward fold. And then into a nice little twist there, revolve triangle pose. Seemingly harmless, right? Wrong. That is an absolute disaster. Why? Because we are mixing prana in a way that is unsystematic, unscientific, and actually unsafe. The way that the ancients categorized postures was less in terms of their form or biomechanical shape, and more in terms of their energetic functionality. This thing that we practice, Tantra, Yoga, it's an energetic practice. So that is the way that the poses were categorized. Traditionally, we would have 6 pose categories: forward folds, twists, back bends, laterals, extensions, and inversions. P.S. handstand, pincha, not inversions at all. They're inverted back bends. They have an entirely different energetic impact. They affect the Pranamaya kosha entirely differently to the way that, say, a shoulder stand would. It's complete opposites. So if your yoga teacher ever says to you, all right, team, we're at the end of class now, pick an inversion, handstand, pincha, headstand, shoulder stand, run. Because those things are entirely different when it comes to the impact they have on the Pranamaya kosha. What aspects of the Pranamaya kosha are we talking about? Let me show you. 6 subsystems: the gunas, the doshas, the vayus. Where are we? Oops. Gunas, doshas, chakras, vayus, nervous system, and general energetics. And all of these pose categories down here on the left side will affect those 6 subsystems entirely uniquely. So if we're just putting pose category after pose category, we are mushing together prana, and as we mush prana together, we mush our minds together, and any real chance of meditation is completely obliterated. So if we want to know how to sequence practices effectively, as the ancients did, then we need to know this stuff. Let me give you an example. If we are a pitta-dominant person, if our nature is quite fiery, fast-paced, competitive, reactive, not so patient, not so compassionate, and we are doing practices, we have a look at this chart, we have back bends and laterals, they both increase pitta. So if we're doing a heated practice, let's say we're in a heated place like Bali, or we're in a heated room, we've got music on the stereo, which is also stimulating for the nervous system, we're in a competitive environment, we're moving quite dynamically, a lot of standing lateral poses, back bends, things like this, that's a recipe for disaster, because it will throw our pitta way out of balance. And here's the kicker: if we are already a little bit out of balance in terms of our pitta, might be exacerbated, pitta increasing practices and postures will feel good, they will feel normal. But here's the thing, just because it feels good, it doesn't mean it's good for us. So ideally, we would look for a pose category that decreases pitta. If we are a pitta person, if we have a pitta imbalance, or if we're practicing in a pitta type environment, then we would look for a practice that decreases pitta as a way to move us towards balance, clarity, freedom, ease, compassion, non-reactivity, patience, yoga. So without knowing the impact of the poses, energetically speaking, not only is it an ineffective way to practice, it's also quite dangerous. And I think this is why the modern yoga scene is so short when it comes to meditators, that we simply can't meditate. And that's not surprising, because unless we organize our pranic body systematically, humbly, very, very carefully and scientifically, the mind is going to be a mess, and meditation will be very, very difficult. So this is one of the things that we look at extensively on the 50-hour training, how to sequence, not just in terms of biomechanics, but energetics, because this is how we move towards mastery when it comes to working with asana, either as practitioners or as teachers. So if you want to take your asana practice or your asana teaching to the next level, and you can get yourself to Bali in about 2.5 or 3 weeks time, we would love to have you here. The training begins on the 26th of November and runs for 5.5 days. It's quite intensive, but it's a lot of fun and it's a lot of great information. So if you're keen, please get in touch with us through the website, practicebali.com, or you can send us a message and get some more info at training@thepracticebali.com. All right, so hope to hear from you. Happy practicing, safe practicing, scientific and skillful practicing too. All right, lots of love. Hari Om.